The podcast in English takes you to the core of SDP.
There will be interesting discussions about SDP's core values, history, and current challenges. The purpose of this series is to engage and facilitate political integration of immigrants.
My name is Tipsa Basuleva.
My name is Waqar Zafar.
And this is the podcast produced by SDP Uusimaa.
Hello and welcome to the podcast from SDP Uusimaa. This is the first episode of our three-part series in English language. And in this series, we will delve into SDP's history, values, we'll hear personal stories from the politicians, and we will be all ears and eyes for the upcoming spring county and municipal elections. We are honored to have Antti Lindtman. He's the MP and the chairman of SDP. We also have Adel Rizvi. He is a registered nurse. He's a student activist, and he is also the former executive director of ADICO. We also have Aline. She is a student. She's studying international politics and public relationships, and she is a new member of SDP and also a candidate from Espoo. Also, Adel is also a candidate from Helsinki. So thank you so much for being here. And this episode is basically, we will discuss about SDP, the values, history. Recently, we have celebrated 120 years of SDP's history. And then we will furthermore discuss about the immigrant issues, what's SDP's stance or views about immigrants in Finland. So I'll start with Antti first, and I'm sure that everybody would like to hear it from you. What does, or how do you define social democracy and what that is personally mean to you?
Thank you. And first, I have to say it's a big question, but if I put it in a nutshell, I think it's making sure that everyone has real opportunities in their life, regardless of your background or economical situation. So I think that has been the red line, from the day one. And if you look at the values, I would define it's this is a movement for democracy, equality, and solidarity. And I think they are, they are very important as they were 125 years ago, as they are today. So if you look at the Nordic model, a Nordic society, usually just a saying, it's a Nordic model. Welfare state is like a bee. It shouldn't be able to fly, but still it's the most one of the most successful society models in the world. And defending it, developing it, it's in the heart of SDP's values.
Thank you so much, Antti. Aline, I want to ask you, because you have joined SDP, I think less than a year ago, and you're our first-time candidate from Espoo. So I think most of people, when you'll go for a campaign, might ask you the same question: why you chose SDP?
Sure. Frankly speaking, sorry, can I say, being honest? I was not interested in Finnish politics at the first point, because as a student was looking for international politics, I found that Finnish politics was a little bit kind of local politics, and it's kind of nationalist. So as an international person, I couldn't relocate, where is my personal identification in those political party. But last year, I was kind of reading newspaper, and I found that one newspaper where a reporter asked the chairman, Antti, why do you support migrants? Kind of that, why do you support those useless people? And huge of them are unemployment. And so I was really surprised that he answered it's not about useless and huge unemployment rate, but the fact that their integration are almost failed. it's kind of half integrated. So I was really think like, oh my God, this is like his answer are almost like what my biological big brother would answer. So I really feel like I want to join the party and I want to hear more from it. So that it, like at the time I joined.
Great to hear.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aline. That was
Thank you.
nice story. Antti, I would like to ask this on behalf of so many people uh, who are, who came here Finland as a student and as an immigrant, as skilled workers, as refugees, and they became part of the system. And they have seen active politics, heard from politicians about SDP. I think SDP is one of the oldest party in Finland, and from last 125 years, SDP has played a key role in shaping of what we call today Finnish society. In your personal view, what are the milestones, what are the achievements, or the roles that SDP has played in the last 125 years?
Well, there's it's, you have to say, if you look at the history of this party, it makes me as a party chairman very humble and feel very small because SDP has played such a huge role shaping Finnish welfare system and society. Of course, one of the first milestone was first free elections, right to vote, and equal right to vote, both women and men. I think that is the foundation of the democracy, because before that there was right to vote only according how much do you earn, or actually how much do you pay taxes. So I think that was the first one. And then of course the 40-hour work week is another important reform from the early days, from our Finnish independence and early days of party history, or our milestone. And then comprehensive school system, maternity leave, equal act. I could spend like 30 minutes to the list all the milestones, but you could say democracy equal to equal opportunities to participate and decide, and in their democracy in municipalities, it's very important part, because our system, our welfare system is built, of course, by the law, but also from the local level. That's why also you could say our service system is still quite efficient if you look at the big picture and other countries. So, and of course, if you look at also the Second World War, Winter War, and so on, SDP's role to unite the nation after just 2 decades after Civil War, it was also there was also a big role with SDP. So I think we come back to our core values: democracy, equality, solidarity. These are the values where all the milestones are built on.
Thank you so much for a very detailed answer. I'll come back to you. Before that, Adel, we both study at the same university. I've seen you very active in student union activities, and you were also part of different boards, working for the students. So, being a student activist, being a student person who is active among students, for the students, and being the councils where they voted you. So, how do you see SDP's reflection in all this, and SDP's role?
Thank you for the question. Well, I can say that I have spent a lot of time with my student active career, like from the grassroots level to all the way to national and international level, where I've gotten to actually talk to MEPs in Brussels or do advocacy stuff that actually concerns the whole of Finland's students or even Europe altogether. And when we're talking about how does the SDP values connect to it, like you have to understand the fact that all students are the future of this world, the future of this country. And when we are saying that these are the people who are going to be working in the future and are going to be doing all of these things that the society needs to function, their rights and their values must be defended and their needs must be heard and kept in mind. So, like, when I was thinking of the different kind of options that I could have with political parties and stuff, SDP just stood out to me. SDP stood out to me because, like, there is the solidarity, there is the camaraderie, there is inclusivity, which I feel like is a very big, important key figure, especially in this day and age, when we think about the fact that people as society are very much separated. Like we see that, oh, you're from here, you're from there, or you're not originally Finnish or anything like that. But we are forgetting the fact that all of us are actually working to make sure that Finland exists as a country and that our society actually functions. So, like, when you think about the fact that students are a keystone when it comes to it, because they are the future working people, the future parents, the future academics, teachers, and everything.
It reminds me of the time when I contested for student union. I went through all the list and I felt a natural welcoming, vibes from the SDP uh, ideology, definitely. But overall, I think in all the universities where I've studied so far, people in this SDP camp are always welcoming to international community and students. It's like it feels like home, especially in those groups. So, my next question is to you, Ali. You're studying political relationships and the history of SDP, and you have been studying democracies in other countries too. How would you compare or relate SDP's history and developing democracy in other countries?
Um, According to what I know as a political science student, like I think that SDP has still have kind of way to go, because that can depend where it's located. In a country like Finland, it requires huge energy to let the people know, because this is the center of a political party where everyone is included, like Finns and migrants, everyone, no matter like you're a woman. And like I read politics via American university, so I usually am. I have like a migrant background, but also Finnish citizen. So I am both. So I am really proud to say that in Finland we had first female president. Do you? And so the okay, we understand we are not yet like reaching that level, but that is something special, and this was bring from social democrats. It's really something that make you as a human believe in your dream, believe in your freedom. Like you have you if you have this kind of chance to meet SDP and like kind of getting energy to join, you will be able to participate, making decision that belong to your life. And so that's all we need. Like we need freedom to drive our economics, to drive like our own matter. And we don't need someone to tell like what I need, like what I need and where to find. So we don't need that. We really, we need, I think that we human, uh, have the capacity if we join this party, the
Yes.
center of the party.
I totally agree with you, and I believe the majority of the immigrants were moving to Finland for a better life is due to the equality that we have and the way we see society, that everybody is involved and grows, and there is a justice system, and the whole society grows together.
And that is the future of Finland, because when people like participating, they build together the country, right? I think that that is something to think about.
Thank you so much, and it is lovely to hear that. Since we're talking about values, so Finland has the SDP has the core value of equality and social justice. So you, as chairman, personally, how does in the current scenario, in the current political landscape, it affects or influence SDP's policies towards immigrants?
Well, in such a many ways, it's a base, it's a principle that no matter where you come from, who you are, what's your background, every human being is equal, and I think that's the whole foundation, and prisma where you look at all the sector of politics. So it's not the like there's no gray. It's a attitude that do you see all human beings as equal? It affects, and then you have easier to find answers to different. If you look at how to avoid discrimination in the labor markets and integration and stopping the discrimination, and what's the how do you say, what's the attitude that especially those who have more power reflects to the whole society. And I think that is a really big problem right now that we have had last 1.5 years with this government. They have had a problem with attitude of how they see discrimination and racism, and we have seen this it reflects the society. It reflects how people see each other and the attitude, and here I see our party SDP is the main counterforce for this current coalition government. But I have to say, you raised up the first female president, Tarja Halonen. I want to tell you a little story, because I was at Halonen's second presidential campaign when she was already a president and then got re-elected 2006. I was there, one of the closest assistant in that campaign, and it was a time when I got to know closer Tarja Halonen, and at the end of the 12-year presidential mandate, when she went to schools, there was a boys who were born after Tarja Halonen was elected. You know what they asked President Halonen back then? Some of the boys might ask, is it possible to become a president if you are a boy?
That's really
Because it was 12 years.
Yeah, that's all.
It's quite a big. So I think that in that moment you saw that one step, one of the, not the last, but one big step of equality has achieved, because after that it hasn't been such a big news. Are you a president, female or male? And as we think of different presidential elections from the world, United States presidential elections and etc. It's not that big thing anymore in Finland after Tarja Halonen, who broke the glass roof.
Yeah, it's an inspiring, I would say, facts, not story,
Yeah.
because it really happened. So, but if we talk about today, the Finnish landscape, and this question is for all of you, to all of you. Finnish landscape is it's very polarized, and it's increasing. The polarization we have seen it from like I would say a decade when it started polarizing, and I would say unfortunately, the people are more moving towards far right or right parties, and this has created an imbalance when we talk about it's a contradictory towards the basic human core values like equality, freedom, rights, social justice. Because when people support it's polarization, and on the far right, especially in Finland, we have seen things that were so unfortunate, I would say. So from your personal point of view, how do you react, or how are you concerned for all those people who moved from towards this side, which is right and far right, and there is an anti-immigrant sentiment or perception, I would say, which is created by this group. How would you react to it? What's your personal take on it?
Well, first of all, I have to say that the polarization as a phenomenon, it's not the new. If you look at the Western countries, if you look at Europe, look at the United States, we have seen rising polarization of political sphere and field, and now we see it also here in Finland, and there's a ground has been ground for a populistic movements, and I see it so that that the more there are exclusion in society, the more there are feed to grow for the right wings and populistic parties and all kind of discrimination. So of course here and now we have to be strong to defend all every human being and these values, and that's what we do, and I'm quite sure that that at the same time that we have seen this polarization, I would say the silent majority who see migration as more an opportunity has risen in these last two decades. But the attitudes has in some parts has separated more and more. So today we have to be strong to defend every human being right to be themselves and equality and stop this discrimination. But I think the long term solution is that we have to make sure that there isn't that much exclusion. More the people feel that they are involved in society and they feel that their life is on the track, the less there are room to rise for the extremist thoughts.
Yeah. And I would like to ask the same question to both of you. You're both from immigrant backgrounds. You're both candidates. You're from Helsinki and you're from Espoo. How would you, as an individual and as a candidate, address the issue of polarization and anti-immigrant sentiments?
Well, the common trope about the polarization is the unrest in the world. Because what research does say is the fact that when there's a lot of unrest and there's a lot of like financial struggles, at that point people tend to be attracted to the polar like right, because they promise all sort of great things, that we will get your economy back on your feet, we will do all the great stuff. And one also like typical point that they make is that the immigrants are stealing your jobs, that's why you can't make any money. And when you think about all of these stuff, it is a very like extreme idea and extreme thoughts, which is a very easy fix for people who are worried and don't know what to do and don't know where to go. And what I see over here is instead a completely different kind of problem when it comes to this. The fact that the Finnish population is a very aging population. We have a ever so dwindling workforce when we talk about just local Finnish employees right now. And if we start thinking about like, oh, that we don't want immigration, we don't want support, we're easily coming to the point where we don't have enough like labor for the labor market. And that's the point when you have to think about the fact that if we want Finland as a country and as a society to progress and be existing as a country altogether, we need positive immigration. And the important things also to make sure in that one is that we also need a strong integration plan, because it's not enough that, oh yeah, we'll bring people to Finland for work, but they also need to feel part of the society. They need to feel that Finland is their home too. So they want to stay here, they want to improve, they want to pay their taxes. They Because right now all of that is lacking. When you think about integration, it's just like, oh, come to Finland, work or study, and there's nothing else. You don't know who's your neighbor, you don't talk to them, you
Yeah.
don't know why do you need to actually care about politics, or that even if your voice matters in this topic altogether. So yeah.
Thank you, Adam. Aline, you want to say something?
I really think that I agree with what the chairman say and what Adel said. But as an international person, to like went abroad for my studies and study international politics, I think that I would say that Finland is not at the bad level to the other compared to other European country. There are really kind of I say that I would say that this is an issue mainly in the Europe compared to the US. Like I would say that US has driven from slave to vote black president. That is a long journey, right? There is something they have proved. So I think that let's focus on the Europe, and as you say for Finland,
Yeah.
I think that there is different kind of discrimination. If you say migrants and let's say about Roma people have been here before us, but still they still face discrimination, like talking behind their backs, like this bring kind of exclusion. They don't want to participate. Then like it's failing the country failed because only Finns, original Finns, I would say, want to like be inclusive. And so like what do you think, like when those migrants are just like outside, they will almost be useless. Fear and fear of not contributing to what other are doing. And I like, as I start say what the chairman of SDP said, like it's almost half of integration failed. That is the main reason why this all happened. So I'm sorry to say that, but I did a little bit of research about your education, and I found that you were like graduating from Helsinki University, Vartiotiede, kind of politics, and so same education the other leaders also were completed. So I was really curious, have this kind of curiosity, like where they do find this kind of I would say that it's a negative idea about migrants. Those migrants are huge, bring huge like kind of negative impacts into society. And so I found that all of them are really educated and almost like same measure. And but again, I noticed that it's up to student to bring up positive opinion, impactful opinion. That is why citizens have this has to vote for the leaders. So when citizens trust you, it's up to you to make things work. It's not up to citizen anymore. So I won't consider Finnish society like negative way or having causing this trouble, but whereas leaders, I would say, they have to find a like solution to the matter. Yeah.
You want to say something?
Yeah, if I can quickly add on to the point of the perception of the immigrants, like why they feel like discrimination is a big thing. Because another thing that I think of is how Swedish-speaking Finns are. Because like if an immigrant is seeing that an official language of the country is being given third-rate importance, where their needs and like their needs are not really being met completely, it does make a very fearful situation for like international people to think that, okay, if this person who is a Finnish citizen and their language needs are not being met and their services are not being met, how would my needs and my wants be met? So it's like, it's a bit of this and that. Like, yes, it is better, but it is not the best either. So you get what I mean?
I personally think there are many dimensions attached to that that need to be addressed and to go in detail. But we can make a whole episode on that. But what I get from both of your responses is that you're addressing the importance of inclusive society. And I've seen that, Antti, you have given statements on the same topic many times, and you said that it's your vision to build inclusive Finnish society, and you have raised the reasons why, which is like you have explained that why immigrants are important, why Finnish economy and society needs them. So, being the chairman of SDP, what kind of initiatives or what kinds of proposal do you want to give on the immigrants' integration into Finnish society, socially and economically both? What do you think about that? What do you propose on these things?
Well, first of all, you have to see that you can't replace overall attitude. If the society isn't inclusive, it's hard to make any laws, and because, for example, we see a lot of discrimination in labor markets. We have we hope that we get the more people, labor force from the abroad, but we still see that many immigrants have difficulties to get the skill level job that they education would give their possibilities. We have lots of engineers and other high educated labor force to being in cleaning places, and it's we value every job, but of course we see that there's a problem. So I think the most important is to make attitudes that discrimination, especially in the labor markets, it wouldn't be that a big problem. And there's a very many things that you can do, and we work on them and those. And then we come to a language. Of course, that is a big. If you look at it from near or more far away, you see that it's a really, in a way, it's a problem, because it's very Finnish language isn't that easy, isn't that common in the world. So I think the other is that we have to give a good possibilities to learn the language in order to integrate and get the place there in labor markets. but still we have to say that there's many international jobs that you don't need the Finnish language, but still of course the possibility to learn a language and get the support, it's really important. And then easy access to services. When you come to Finland, we know that it takes weeks or months to get the bank account, to get the tax number and these. And when under Sanna Marin's cabinet, we made a promise that you get everything in a 1 month, and we are not still there, but we are going towards there, and there we have to continue work in society. But this is really, as you said, that if we want to keep this welfare society, if we want to see prosperity and growth, we really need skillful people here to build their own lives and then society, because I don't want to see people only as a part of the building the society. That's important and you need it, but you have to remember, if somebody moves to Finland to go to work, you are not only a labor, you are also a human being. You have
Exactly.
you have family, you have kids, and that is one of my extra points is there, that you have to have also good services to your family, and a possibility to have a good kindergarten and good schools also to those who comes with their loved ones to Finland.
Thank you. Indeed, there are thousands of immigrants who are skilled, and they are serving Finland in many fields like IT, nursing. If you see, the majority of the people working are from international backgrounds, IT, same, and there are so many more fields and departments that they're serving. But the key question here comes that yes, they're part of the society they're serving, but they also need to be active in politics. Yes, immigrants have issues, but they need to be addressed on political platforms. Now, I would like to ask this to both of you. You're part of SDP, and how would you address this, and how would you suggest this to them, that how they can be more active in politics, and how they can also, if they want to be part of SDP?
Okay, thank you. Actually, like what I will say is that like most of migrants have kind of, let's say, negative image about politics in the previous origin or background. So it's not easy to them to get into politics as long as they still face discrimination. Okay, but I think that if we are the luckiest to have SDP. So as long as maybe SDP take this advantage, and like, let's say not only the chairman who has to speak up the truth, like everyone who is belonging to SDP and who have this heart of diversity and want to build Finland, and who want maybe, let's say, the future of Finland, because when you have huge working force, and then why not using it in your country? So I think that if maybe there is innovation and desire for improving, I think this can be start with this central political party to help migrants know them, let them know. Like for me, like if I didn't have a chance to read this newspaper, I was a little bit far to understand Finnish politics. I was into in international politics, and then yet think that Finland has a long journey to work. But then it was up to them to let us know.
I'm more interested to know your personal view in it. You're part of SDP, you're part of SDP International, and what would you recommend immigrants if they want to be active within SDP, especially?
When I say this, I am considering to those mainly uneducated.
Okay.
It's hard to them to know about politics, to read maybe, let's say. And so, but when someone contact them and say like, do you know that there is a party named SDP who try to advocate for your rights, like introducing themselves to migrants,
Yeah.
meet them there. But for the educated, yes, we see everything like online, reading newspaper. We will get to know it, like a show, podcast like this. So, kind of different way to advocate it.
Thank you, Aline.
Thank you.
Adel, same question to you. What is to be? It is to be part of SDP and SDP International, and how can immigrants be more active in SDP?
I'm going to sort of piggyback from the things that you said. And yes, there's a big difficult thing that a lot of people are dealing with is the fact that they come from various backgrounds, and a lot of countries have politics that are very corrupt, or it is not necessarily something that actually represents an individual person. But then in Finland, even a singular person's voice matters. Your thoughts matters, your views matters. And when that can be communicated to them and made them like make it understand to them that politics is you having an opinion.
Yeah.
And as long as you have an opinion, you're doing politics. And as long as they need something to be done about it, they can voice their opinions. So like people like us
Yeah.
running for council elections or municipality elections, the representation so that people can see that people like themselves are taking these matters into their hands, and that they themselves can do that too, either by voting for people like us or others who actually share the same values that they have in mind, or themselves running for elections, or themselves going and volunteering for things, or giving their like peace of mind to people who can actually do something about it.
Thank you, Al. That was nice. Antti, one piece of advice you would like to give to the young people, aspiring leaders, people who are seeking career in politics from your own experience?
Well, it's politics in Finland. It's even one human being can have an impact, and it's you can, and it's not the moonwalk. It's a step by step, and the first step is the most important. And I haven't seen anyone who has regret to take that step. So in order to hear a voice, your voice in the society, it needs the people, also immigrant background people, to involve in city councils and municipalities. I take one example from my perspective. I have been a member of city council, city of Vantaa, almost 20 years now, and I have been a dad for almost 7 years now. So these last 7 years, I have learned more about services for families, early childhood education, hobbies, and etc. More in these last 7 years that I learned before that in my career, because I had my own experience. So that's why we need the different kind of people to give their own expertise, and it might not have to be comes from education. You don't have to be expert. If you are expert in your own everyday life, then that's a very valuable thing. And our party the doors are open. Welcome.
Thank you so much. With that, thank you so much, Antti, Adel, and Aline, for this opportunity to discuss so much important topics and concerns that need to be addressed. And at last but not the least, I would also like to thank all the viewers and listeners. And if you're interested to join SDP, you can visit our website at sdp.fi. And if you're interested to join international politics or within Finland activities, want to be part of the SDP International Network, you can also join our page usima.sdp.fi. If you need more information, there is also an English template on our website, sdp.fi, and you can find more information there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.